soon as I click 3-0, of course I get a game. I'm sending out 3-2 and 5-0 challenges to no avail. Maybe we can get a Busch-Gass against this Slovenian FM. Nice. Let's go. This guy seems like he's prepared. Alright, you know what? I always play Stafford transpositions here, but I am going to play the Busch-Gass's unique option of F5 for a change. Because I typically play Stafford transpositions in that position. But I like this, and I want to show you all why. I think there might be Queen D4 here. Am I wrong? Bishop E3, Queen B2. Bishop E3, Queen B2, Bishop C5. Queen A1 takes... No, so I should go Knight G4. Okay, now we play F takes G4, which is kind of spicy. And what do we got now? I guess C3 and D4 is coming, right? So in view of that, castle C3, take queen H4, king G1. In view of that, maybe I'll play bishop F5. Stop C3. Okay, now we can castle. Can also work on getting this pawn back. Okay. But this is the long-term play. This is the long-term play, and the pressure right there. What do we call that? Like, that's not, I was going to say connect four. That's like a square, a cube. It's one of the Rosen challenges. Okay, my opponent is just oblivious to this idea because it's not obvious. Now they see it, as they were just mowing along, solidifying their pawn structure here. Now they want queen f4, which is going to be their only saving grace. In that position, I still have bishop d3, which would win an exchange. But can we win the game? Bishop e4 now is interesting. This is very ambitious, considering I have an option to win an exchange. But we take away queen f4. We're using our other rook, and we want rook h6, right? It's that simple. Rook e1, rook h6. Oh, that's the wrong rook. I can go here, and we can get him. Boom. No queen f... Oh, that was their idea. Right. I forgot that existed. Okay. Okay. We gotta be fast. I mean, this still has to be quite good for us. Oh, I should have just done the other rook. I can still do that. Should have just done the other rook. Let's bring him around. He's doing nothing. Doing literally nothing. E6. Maybe I should actually bring this here. Yeah. It's a little tenuous. Ugh. Fun game. Fun game, fun game. My mouse was skipping out on me a little bit there, which always makes it tough. Okay, that was a fun game in the Busch-Gass against the FIDE Master here with this F5 idea, which I really like. Okay, that was actually, the accuracy could have been a lot worse. That was 86.6 for a Busch-Gass Gambit, which it always docks me for. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And a Wild Blitz out, which also generally docks me for. Okay, Busch-Gass Gambit. I only got one question mark this time. Typically gives me two. So knight takes, knight c6, takes, d takes. Okay, so I mean, of course, there's a number of lines here. Knight f3 is a common move we see at this level, not giving us the Stafford capture and trying to prepare d4. But we can hit him with d5. And this line is fun. We play bishop to g4. We play queen to h5 when we're inevitably attacked. And we castle long. Lots of fun stuff here. My opponent in the game went for this option, takes and d-takes. So it's the Stafford capture. This position would be the Stafford, right? But we have played bishop c5, which is in any way played almost every time in the Stafford, and gives us one additional option. Okay, so there's also the additional fun line of c3, which is the engine's recommendation, where we play queen h4 to attack these guys, and we can stop d4 from being played for a while. So lots of fun stuff here, and so many Busch-Gass lines that are covered on my channel. But anyway, my opponent played d3, and most of the time I'd say in this position I play knight f6, which transposes to the Stafford. Now is a full transposition, just to show you what I mean when I keep referencing it. I was a fan of Eric Rosen as well. It is this line in the Petrov playing knight c6 instead of the main line of d6 and recapturing the pawn. Takes, takes, and so this position instead of the Busch-Gass position. And here d3, bishop c5, and now bishop e2 to kick away knight g4. And there's more lines with h5. But in general, like, okay, of course this is a big plus for white. I mean, it's a big plus regardless because we gave away our center pawn according to the engine, but not that we can't still have a lot of fun and even beat very strong opponents. So here, f5 is an interesting option because we have not blocked this pawn. So with f5, when we trade off for these pawns, what we got is another weakness here and another weakness here, right? So for example, if my opponent kind of allowed me to, or like I probably could have in the game. I played knight f6. Yeah, maybe I could have played this with takes, and like queen h4 or something like this. Yeah, queen h4. Already, this is very, very interesting, and if I had this back, this is actually probably how I would have done it. Takes, takes, and queen h4. Castles, and I'm not worried about this pawn. Also, I might lose my queen immediately, but the point would be to play this with knight f6, castles here, and look how well all of black's pieces are working, hitting f2. There's no knight f3, which is the best defender of this king. We're attacking this pawn a lot. And I kind of like this. We got many, many targets that I'd be looking at here if I were black here. Castles, bishop g4, and rook e8. So yeah, I would just take e4 at the first opportunity. In the game I played knight f6, I kind of thought I'd have another opportunity to do that. But e5 was played, which I think is a good move. In fact, when the engine thinks about it, it considers this a good move. Yeah, I was thinking about this move queen d4 in this position. So attacks this, attacks this. My concern was bishop e3. And if I take, there's d4. Which, and I drop a piece. So bishop e3, but then there's this line, takes, takes. Oh, if takes a1, there was ef6, and I lose two pieces for a rook. But there was knight d7, great move. So here, black is okay material-wise, because they got both these things hanging. So I didn't see knight d7 in this line. And we just kept up the gambit with knight g4, and they took this. They could have maybe tried not taking it. But I think, regardless, I could have forced them to do it. And the key of this is just an idea I knew. The key of this is going to be h2 is weak because of the hits we're going to put on the h-file, right? So I played here bishop f5. I was very worried about c3, d4. It was probably too much so, especially considering I just said it's not my top idea in this position. But rather, you know, I want to get a rook to h5, kind of, right? And their pieces are not well equipped. I mean, I really kind of like this pawn on g4 a lot. I like that pawn on g4 a lot. But, yeah, probably not as much as if I were able to trade this pawn. Like, e5 is probably already a little bit annoying. So I think f5 at the first opportunity, yeah, I would like to trade it. So, okay, take, take. I played bishop f5 just to stop c3. Pressure here. It's fine. They play knight d2. Castles, knight b3. Yeah, queen d5 I think makes a lot of sense, you know, if you're focused on the pawns and such, and focused on the middle of the board. It's blitz, and I knew I had my one idea of attacking this. So in the game, knight b3, bishop to b6, and bishop to e3. I'm very happy to see bishop to e3 because I know that that bishop could maybe patch up around here and also kind of takes away the h6 square. So I'm very happy to make this trade. Play your queen h4. So it's a mistake, but it's not changing the eval much. Takes b6, ab6, d4. My opponent is just going along a little bit oblivious to what's happening. And yeah, queen d2 now would have made a lot of sense, because that way maybe they can get their queen to g3, which defends. Because now when my rook is coming to h6, this becomes very dangerous. There's no way to defend this. This pawn takes away h3, and there's nobody around to defend because of this pawn, which takes away the knight f3, and there's no dark square bishop on the board. So it says here g3 and f4 could have helped them clear the second rank for defense. But that's tough, especially with all the weaknesses that could be created on the light squares, but I guess I just can't get them. And I also have en passant here. But I guess they're defending. h5, h4 is another idea, also opening, so that's very difficult to play from any practical point of view. So queen d2, trying to play queen f4, right? So I mentioned in the game I have this opportunity, rook h6, queen f4, and bishop to d3, which will trade queens, but it will also win in exchange. So here I would just be up a rook for a knight and pawn in the endgame. I didn't go for that, and I went for the more ambitious bishop to e4, which it liked, opening this rook, taking away queen to f4, and trying to play rook h6. So my opponent plays rook e1, and I play rook h6, which is an error, yeah, because I forgot about this resource of queen takes h6. So what I should have done is bishop f3. Damn, I wish I played that. Bishop f3. What a sick move. Look how all these pieces are playing so well. These pieces are not. So, like, for example, takes. I'm just going to checkmate you. King h1. Oh, this is filthy. Rook f5. And these rooks are just going to checkmate. These rooks are just going to checkmate. For example, like, if I can move again, right? Takes, and rook g6. Rooks just shuffle on the light squares. Wow. That's so good. That is so good. Not just the smoothie. Wow. Here, no way to defend either. So, no capture on f3 because pawn takes and my rooks will just control every file. And otherwise, like, I'm just going to play rook h6 and get you. Wow. Yeah, the engine's saying you got to go queen takes h6. Yeah, otherwise, like, I just kind of save my bishop. And the whole point of moving my bishop, actually, wasn't really so the bishop could do a lot, but was just so I can control the square, and I just kind of need to find any square, right? I couldn't go here because that would actually help them get to g3 to defend. I just kind of needed to find any square. And I want to save the bishop, because in the game I didn't save the bishop, and they were able to take, and here they have a rook, knight, and pawn for the queen, which is still good for me. This is still good for me. It's minus 0.4, but it just could have been a lot better. Like, I could have kept him alive. The other thing it does, actually, not to diss on this bishop too much, it's doing an important job. If I just go bishop to d5, there's queen e3 and queen g3. When I put the bishop on f3, the queen has no path to g3. And so there's no possible way white can save h2 at this point. They just don't have the pieces to do it. They just don't have the pieces to do it, yeah. And even better than rook h6 could be like to not even give them the opportunity to sacrifice their queen. So yeah, bishop f3 would have been a really, really nice idea. I didn't see it. I mean, I didn't even see the point of them sacrificing their queen. So that was the issue, because otherwise checkmate's unstoppable. But so they could do this. There was this interesting idea to go like takes and then bring another one, but it's not working because they can actually play h3 at this point, and with a nice pin. So okay, so what happened here? My opponent kind of thought they could just flag me. We're just kind of moving around. Yeah, they have no idea. They should be pushing this pawn. They should be trying to cause problems here. They did not push it for a while. Now they do, and I slide my king over. And rook e5 was a big error because it allows me to slip inside. Yeah, what they can do is actually give this knight a job, right? If they're worried about defending h2, this knight had no task over here. Now it can, and they could try to get here, or try, like, any file, any check, right? I mean, this is quite the pawn. So, my chance as the side with the queen is getting in and causing problems and attacking unprotected things. But if the position's solid, then I can't. But yeah, I slipped inside here, started taking things, rook f5, and trading off. Yeah, when you have the side with the queen, it's always good to trade off every piece other than the queen. Not always, but usually good to trade off every piece other than the queen, because like lots of pieces can work well together. But just, yeah, if there's only just like a rook and a knight, for example, for the queen, that's like all they have left, then the queen might just kind of run wild there. And that is kind of what happened here. Now, you know, there's just no way to defend everything if you're white. I was able to trade that off and just eat lots of things. I ate all the pawns, I promoted a pawn, and we were just blitzing out. I lost that pawn. Okay, but then I got him with a check. Tricky one there. Grabbed the knight, and I promoted another pawn, and that was finally enough. So, fun game, and I think an important part of Busch-Gass theory, because you can always just play a Stafford, but people know the Stafford. So, this idea of f5, and I think here, so if bishop to e2, which is the most sensible option, first of all, queen h5 does nothing, right? Just g6, and there's really no change in things. What you don't want to do is take this if they can play queen h5. Don't lose your bishop, PSA. That is a very tricky way to lose your bishop. So otherwise here, you can just continue with knight f6. If e5 at this point, then, you know, they are not ready to castle, and they're not ready to defend f2. So this is already very bad. Remember, they never have d4 just because of, you know, Stafford and Busch-Gass principles. So, yes, we play f5 because we want to make that trade. If you end up with pawn takes g4, that's still okay. You have the ideas of attack on the h-file, like in the game. But f5, we want to make this pawn trade. So bishop e2, next time, what I will do, better than knight f6, because I didn't love this e5 so much. I mean, it's very playable, but I think an even better option is takes. Even though the evals are similar, queen h4, I like this, castles, and now knight to f6. And I really, really like this. Castles, bishop g4, rook e8. So this is an option that's Stafford-esque, but you get f5 because you have not blocked this pawn yet. And just in terms of like other options for white, so yeah, knight c3, would you play? Yeah, you would play knight f6. So e5 now, we just check this. Bishop e2, for example. What do we got? Yeah, I mean, go for it, right? Takes. Attack this. Of course, it would be nice to get our queen to h4, right? Can we do that? Knight f6. Sorry. Knight f6, bishop e2. Castles, castles. Got a couple interesting ideas here. Takes, takes, queen e7. We're attacking this. Get this other rook in the game. I also like this idea of queen e8, queen g6, which can be interesting. But otherwise, like, yeah, this is very effective. This pin here. This is not an easy pawn to defend if you're white. For example, like bishop d3. Now I think knight g4 is already quite dangerous. They lost contact with that square. Knight g4. Yeah, lots of guys attack this, right? It's good to have that f-file open. And queen h4. So, yeah, fun stuff. Fun line. So if you get the Busch-Gass like this, they just play d3 or knight c3, and they're probably booked up in the Stafford. You know, if they were willing to play knight takes e5, play f5. Play f5. Open up more things. Knight f6. Make that trade. Attack. You'll get a few targets. And subscribe if that goes on YouTube. I'm gonna play another game. Okay, we got a Busch-Gass accepted. Let's go. Let's go. Got a Busch-Gass accepted against 2600. It's actually always very fun to play. Get the Gambit glasses on. C3, best move. Queen f3 is the only thing that doesn't lose, because queen 2, queen gets attacked. So queen h6. Still no d4 because of the hit on that bishop. So knight a3 is the best move according to the engine, but most people in Mittens and Sergei Zagolko play bishop c4 to castle to get the rook to defend here. So yeah, bishop c4, knight f6, castles. Rook should defend that. Oh, e5 is supposed to be a bad move, but I'm actually not sure why. Have I faced this before? So bishop g4, queen g3, knight e4 takes. I think knight f2. It's interesting, but it kind of flames out, and I'm sure there's better. Something I'm really strongly considering. This is actually very fun. Wait, this is very fun. I'm gonna like. Yeah. Okay. I could play knight d5 and just not lose f7, but I'm gonna allow queen takes f7, just go king d8, and say you have nothing in that position, and my next move is just gonna be rook f8. I actually didn't even know this e5 move. Attacks my knight. Typically everyone goes castles and then we play bishop d6, attacking here. This is good. This is fun. This is really fun stuff. There's still no d4. That's hit. So what do you do here? Still no castles because of this. No, never h3 because of this. So bishop f7. I go king e7. Now I'm threatening a couple things. So h3 does nothing. h3 literally does nothing. I will castle. So they didn't even want to take f7. Isn't that interesting? They didn't even want to take f7. I'm going to castle. h3, yeah, it does nothing. They can't sacrifice that. It's too much to lose. They have, I guess, bishop f1. They have bishop f1. Take bishop f1. But, okay, so if they castle, threatening d4, okay. Okay, this is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. So knight e5, I probably have to play. I mean, bishop e6 is kind of interesting. No, I have to play knight e5. Okay. Okay, something spicy like take. No. What do we got? What do we got? Because d4 is coming, right? So if I play bishop d6, d4, kind of got nothing. So if I just trade, and then bishop h3, bishop h3 right now, there's queen e, okay. Bishop h3 right now, there's d4, queen g6, I'm good. If queen takes e5, bishop d6, take, bishop d6, d4, I don't think it works. You know what? I think it might be fun, though. No, it's actually just bad. I should do this. It's not working, so I should go here. Okay. It's fine. d4, queen g6. I like my position. I like my position. And I'm threatening bishop takes h3 if I got to move again. d4, queen g6. I have a really nice position. I have a great bishop pair, and they just don't have this development yet. And I'm not down a pawn. But I spent a lot of time there trying to make that work. Okay, but interesting stuff. I love both these bishops. So, like, yeah, for example, here, king h1, right? I'm going to play bishop f5 even. Beautiful, beautiful threat right there. I also had bishop e6, queen e2, bishop d5, trying to threaten mate, and then f3. To defend that, I had queen g3. Oh, but they just blundered this. Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? I guess my bishop was that good. Maybe they wanted to let it go. My bishop pair. It's just so good. Queen d3, e3. Yeah, okay, let's just go here. Or it comes to e2, or not. Let's. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, let's just not flag here. Let's play queen e6. Trade queens. If not, I want f5, f4. But if not, then I'll trade. I want to review this. This was a very interesting line. Takes there. Yeah, I want just f5, f4, f3. Oh, I guess takes c6 will defend f3. I didn't even see that. Takes c6 defends all this. I shouldn't. I should just play b6. That's probably not a good move. I think takes and defend against f3 because now this is an issue. Takes would have held this. Let's go queen g6, g3, and then I try to zigzag my way in. I'm willing to go queen takes e8. Yeah, just go rook takes b2. Got some juicy stuff here. Queen e2, nice move. I just need to dodge all these checks. But I think we do. I think I can just go rook takes d2 there. Actually, no. I'm going to play this safe. I think I had rook takes d2 anyway. But regardless, let's just go bishop f8. Let's try and go here. You can dodge them, right? Can't we? Yeah, nice mate. Oh, that's not quite mate. It's not quite mate. Nice. I love the infinite free moves. Okay, wait, that was such an interesting game. We have to review this. I was also threatening bishop takes b1 after bishop f5. You're absolutely right. That was the reason I did this. Okay, interesting game. Got some exclams in here. I'm excited. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Thank you. I like this one. And against the 2600 too. To get him with the Busch-Gass. And so my opponent played all of Stockfish's moves for a long streak. So knight takes e5, this is already over +1. Because not only are you down a pawn, you're down a center pawn. So knight c6, take, and c3. So this is like the critical position, and if we didn't have anything here, then white would just be in business. Because if they just play d4, take the whole middle, tempo on the bishop, they play here e5, we're down a pawn, and we're down an important pawn, right? So we need here queen h4, threatening here. If they play d4, we take this, check, and it's just equal. Queen e2 loses to bishop g4, hits the queen, and we're threatening checkmate. Some line can continue here, right? So here we would take on an f2. Line can continue here with g3, queen h5. Here, get the queen away from this bishop. And then here there's even like a super nasty move. Bishop f3 can trap the rook. But there's even like a super nasty move, which is like, you know, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you should pause this. It's bishop d1. Traps the queen. There's no square. And takes just to take f2. Completely unnecessary way to win the game, but super cute way to win the game. I hope to do that in a game one time. I think I've had this exact position in a game one time, and I played bishop f3, which is kind of a shame. But I think I won that game anyway. But it's all about how you win, right? So queen h4, queen f3, queen h6, right? So this is the critical maneuver that draws the queen away from the defense of this bishop, and so now, I mean, I've had a couple people play just d4 anyway, and have this happen to them. Yes, the engine's recommendation is just to play knight a3, and just to threaten d4 just as fast as you can, in which case white really is kind of up a pawn here, and we just need to play for just kind of some compensation, like knight e7 castles. But that's like the absolute best way to play. I don't think I've ever even really faced knight a3, and it's so unbelievably rare. Almost everyone plays bishop c4, including GMs, including Mittens, including Stockfish at a low depth at first. We'll play bishop c4, threatening what appears to be checkmate here. So knight f6, and here almost everyone castles, right? I've had a million games like this. After castles, where we play here bishop d6, now focused over here. And now there's like lots of fun lines here with bishop f4, or even bishop g4, because there's no takes because of queen h2. And otherwise, like if you chase this queen away, right? If you chase this queen away, or queen d3, there's rook d8, right? If you chase that queen away, then there's take h3, in which case you can checkmate him here. So lots and lots of fun stuff here. So like the bishop was pointing this way for a long time, trying to cause problems on f2. Now that they finally castled, they fortified f2 a lot, and they're really threatening d4, which looks like it's like really going to be good for real. It's all defended, so then we just switch to these threats. And I've also had, if this goes on YouTube, I'll link my Mittens game and my Sergei Zagulko game in the comments below here, which were from that exact position. But my opponent played this e5 move, which is new to me, and it's a mistake according to the engine here, dropping it from plus 1.2 to -0.2, or dead equal. And I played here knight g4, and it wanted bishop g4. So after queen g3, knight e4, I was looking at this in the game. Takes knight f2. Yeah, okay, I mean, it's like I'm fishing for this rook. I don't really regret not doing this, and it's only equal. So knight g4, what was the great refutation here? The move was knight a3. Knight a3. So you really want to play d4, right? To attack the queen, attack the bishop. But c1 will hang. You can't castle to introduce that defense. It blunders checkmate 1. So you need to play, in spite of all these things hanging across the board, knight a3, just allow the capture on f2, just to try and play d4. So it leads to, this is the correct continuation. Queen g6 dodges this and defends f7. So a very interesting position where material's equal. Looks like white's king is in trouble because I'm going to try to get this here, but apparently not. apparently white is doing all right here. So, but a very inhuman move to find knight a3. I think that's very tough. The other thing, right, about knight g4, oops, is queen takes f7, check king d8. And so this is now just like, what do you do if you're white? And it's why my opponent didn't do it. What do you do? Because rook f8 is just going to be my next move. And among other things, that traps the queen, right? So like, even if you could create a square here, I'm just going to I'm going to take this. Then f2 is still going to fall. I still got guys on this. I got my bishop jumping into the game after everything. So yeah, like queen e2 takes and bishop g4. So lots and lots of fun stuff. So my pieces are so active that I could even allow this capture and try to put the rook here. Now, the reason why it recommends this is because it's saying knight a3, and if rook f8, there's probably, yeah, d4. Interesting. So counter hit here, and if queen h4, then I guess the point is g3. You can keep attacking this until you can try to get the bishop to g5. So really interesting line. So takes, take f2. It's just pandemonium on the board. All right. Let's look at what happened in the game. So knight g4, my opponent played h3. If it's not knight a3, then it's a blunder. So now it's only minus 0.3. It was a pretty reasonable move to play h3 to try and castle. So I castle. What was even better? It wanted take. King e2, take. Knight e5 defends everything, right? Queen takes f2, and then maybe take this. And then I'm up a pawn and got their king in the middle. Okay, didn't do that. I played castle, which is actually only a decrease of 0.2 points. It's minus 0.2 to equals. So here, castles, knight e5, queen e2, take. Engine wanted here. I played bishop d6. Engine was recommending this, just because of the point that there's like no way to defend checkmate here. g3, I guess we... Wow, queen d3? What a move. Wow, that just underscores how little development they have, that the rook can't even coordinate here. And if rook e1, the queen just squiggles in. Wow. They really can't defend this. That's crazy. Queen d3. Because it's not queen e4. Because here they have queen f2 to defend against these threats. So queen d3 threatens that. No defense other than rook e1. Literally the engine's recommending to give the queen. But yeah, wow, because these pieces just aren't out. You play c3 and then don't play d4 to finish your development, then you're just not getting these out. And then, yeah, wow, checkmate. Wow, nasty stuff. In the game, I just played bishop d6, and it's -1 just because this bishop pair is very nice, and my opponent has no development. So in the game here, d4, queen g6, threatening take h3, king over to h1, and bishop f5. So here, yeah, I criticized my opponent for knight d2, but it's literally the best move, because yes, as Christo Haha commented, we're threatening to take b1 here. So like if you dodge this, I can take that. I can also even like maybe probably play bishop e4, threatening checkmate, f3, queen g3. My bishops are just doing such a great job here. So wow. So already here, yeah, I'm threatening to take this and get him here, but my bishops are just so good. There's no development. My bishops were pointing at the king and had a totally open board. So knight d2, we grab this exchange. Here comes rook e8. Yeah, c5 makes some sense to free this, get some files for my rooks. Rook e8, I really just let this fall for the longest time. I think also if you're up material and playing blitz, I think b6 just makes a lot of sense to patch things up. So I kind of regret not doing that. Queen e6, I was really asking for this. I should have played rook b8 and taken b2 at least. f5, yeah, there's queen takes c6. I didn't see this. The queen will defend f3 in this case. So, and I don't have like bishop h2 check if the king were here. I would have bishop h2 check to win this. So actually here they could collect a couple of pawns, and my advantage certainly falls a lot there. In the game I played f5, and they didn't see that. So they slid king g1, which now actually means they can't take this, because is bishop h2. So king should not be there. I played f4, bishop back, and f3, which causes a lot of issues, because I'm threatening takes h3 if g3. So that's not good for them. Rook e1 makes sense, though. Swing that in. There's queen g6. Queen d7, it's recommending just keeping the pressure there, preventing g3. So now we're going to make a pawn trade here. Rook can just capture on e8. Queen is a little bit misplaced if their king is getting mated on the other side. But here this was nice because I played rook e8 and then was able to play queen takes e8, getting my rook into the game while keeping this pawn on f3 that keeps a lot of checkmate threats on the board. So it takes b2, queen comes back to b3 for defense, queen e2, nice move. Of course, any trade, and that pawn is way too good. So queen f5. Definitely the best practical try by my opponent, right? Keep queens on the board, look to the king, try to give checks. Try to give checks and cause problems. So h6, I'm just trying to create a square. Takes a2. So here I want takes f1 and rook b1 check. Unfortunately, that's covered, so I take a2 to try to give myself the a1 square. You know, so the bishop here makes a lot of sense. It patches this, but I'm trying to get him on the first rank now. So here come the checks. Check, 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 check. Finally, I'm able to dodge it. Queen e6 and here. So finally, I got the bishop there. You know, I don't have all the time in the world because here, like, if I don't have something in this position, then there's just gonna be more checks, right? It's just gonna be more checks. And like, if I have to play rook a1 here, it takes, and then they can keep checking me. So it's fortunate for me that I have this nice resource, as in the game. Queen takes f1, takes. Shame I didn't get next time for queen takes f1. King takes and rook a1 check, right? So that's nice, with the pawn covering this. So then here, this was winning, where I'm just up a bishop in the endgame, and we just had to blitz this out. Like, this pawn cruised all the way down. If it took c7, then I couldn't have guard the light square, so that would have been crazy. Of course, I should have just taken it. But yeah, and then, okay, just I would say dirty flag, but I'm winning. So, interesting game in the Busch-Gass against a very, very strong player. Always fun to play the Busch-Gass against strong opposition. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. Subscribe if that one goes on YouTube.
William Grave, the Gambit man, takes his seat at the board. e4, e5, knight f3, bishop c5. The Busch-Gass Gambit on the board. On with the Gambit classes. Hero pawn unlocked.